Greetings, YouTube. Let's make sure you ain't got no attachments. If you can hear a pop or feel a pop, a chord popping, you record it. But if you can't feel or hear it like I do, then if you can feel a rush of energy come back to you, it means you record it. By the way, this is a selenite knife. It's just a video, I'm just vibing. Nothing really planned, doing my thing. It's really just for me. I do these from time to time. So I'll be looking for something specific. This might not be the video. Or it could be. Whatever. Yeah, this thing about human design real quick I'm about to listen to. It says, do non-emotionals hold on to emotions from their childhood? All right, let's check it out.
Can a non-emotional still be carrying emotions in their emotional sponge from years ago, like childhood, for example?
The short answer is no. The only place you can carry the past is in your mind and in your cellular memory. The centers are very much real-time energetic body givers and receivers. So, of course, you can be holding on to old emotions in your cells, but only because they are there because of your subconscious mind. They're not there because they're not there because you took them in once and therefore they've stayed in that center without first being processed by you and interpreted by your brain as a pain, a shame, a trauma, or whatever. That's how things get stored in the cells, but they wouldn't be in the center just on a physical level because someone put them in directly and then they haven't been able to flush out. Because even if, let's say, you spent your whole life not emptying out, you would still empty out in sleep, in a workout, in the course of a day. The body does kind of self-renew that way. And that's what's so promising about getting the mind out of the way, is that it means that the body is a fully regenerative system if we let it do its thing, which actually should mean that we only get more vibrant, more full of life, better as time goes on. If we let the body do its thing without the mind trying to micromanage it.
So you're saying that it's like actually the healthiest, not just for like our mental health in the moment, how we're feeling about taking on emotions. And when I say we, I say that because I'm also non-emotional. It's actually healthy physically for our body to not take on those emotions as ours, because if we let ourselves feel them and have it flushed out immediately, then that doesn't eventually turn into emotional trauma in the future. It's like, let it pass through you, let yourself feel it, don't involve your mind. And
Yes.
that's like the healthiest way of experiencing emotions.
Yes, absolutely. And, Ra used to say all the time that, you are only unhealthy if you are misusing your design, right? So, um, of course, it's going to create, someone wrote to me the other day saying, wow, their splenic authority, and they always had issues with an autoimmune condition. I forget which one it is, but it's the one that's tied to the spleen. And sometimes it is that literal. And it really is just saying, like, if you are aligned, which is what human design is all about, which is using your body correctly, um, then you don't need to be unhealthy because nothing is out of whack, right? So the body doesn't need to start sending you signals that something needs to be changed or tweaked. And so that's a wonderful thing that really comes from living your design, is that in a way it is the best, secret to health, quote unquote, but without even trying to make a secret to health, without trying to hack the whole thing. It's just like, if you live correctly, then everything does fall into place. And in the case of what you're asking about, the non-emotionals, I always say observe, don't absorb, meaning if you don't identify with emotions that you're picking up from other people as your own, then like you said, they can kind of pass through. But I think also what this person is asking about the question is feelings, right? Which not necessarily tied to the emotional wave, but feelings of hurt and pain from past memories. And those are not concerned with the emotional wave. Those are how we process life. And so that is like a mind thing. And so that only becomes cellular if it comes from the brain.
So then, I mean, not that you have to necessarily prescribe anything, but what do you feel like, if you could recommend anything, if they do have those emotions that have been stored in their cells, like what do you do if it has been locked in your body via your mind?
It's so interesting because changing or healing anything, you almost have to work with whatever your beliefs are, right? So for someone, aromatherapy could be the thing that really helped them. And the reason why that really helped them is because it was the right facilitator, they were at the right time, they were in the right frame of mind where they were ready to believe it, their system was open enough, they had the right set of readiness to receive that at the time that they received it. So it's not the modality itself, it's your relationship to the modality and the way it's shared, the way you see it, and the gifts that it has in itself. And so, honestly, it really does come back to authority, because you can't force yourself to heal until you feel ready. That's number one. And number two, how you choose the modality that's going to help you, or the tools that's going to help you, depends on how you feel about them. Now, what I do think though is that obviously that sounds really simple, but it's really profound, because that means you then don't have to, go on Google and research and listen to what's worked for other people and do all of that mind stuff in order to figure out what's going to work for you. You have to just understand that you're on your own journey, and that the second you are truly ready to change it, it will happen. And it doesn't really matter what the modality is. It takes the power out of the modality being the thing that works or not. And just understanding that humans right now need, because we believe that we need, outside modalities to fix us. But in theory, if you are a person who's ready to believe that you don't need an outside thing, then it can just be as simple as being like, maybe I saw this situation differently than what it was. Like a lot of the time with me, with things that upset me about what my parents did to me as a kid, I'm like, oh, they weren't on purpose meaning that nefariously. I could just not understand because I was a kid, and that used to upset me when they told me that, So there's a lot of times where at the most simple thing, it could be a mental reframe, it could be a consciousness shift, it could be you practicing forgiveness, it could be you getting clear on exactly what it is you're feeling, and then being ready to just be rid of it and not wanting to feel it anymore. It could be you practicing in the moment, feeling differently about something. It could be you flushing it out via some physical systems like Tai Chi or any energy work or body work. It could be subconscious reprogramming. It could be healers. It could be so many different things, but it really depends. What's going to work is really going to depend on you and your own matrices of belief, and also your own matrices of readiness, and how much of a stretch you're open to various things.
I'll share an example too of like something that quickly changed for me without necessarily needing a modality that was like an emotional trauma for me. Like I had such a hard time talking about money in my relationship because growing up I had this story that my dad was like controlling about money. And then as an adult in my relationship, my husband said something that I think I remembered my dad saying, but in the moment with my husband, I could see that it was a very normal reaction. But as a kid, the way I interpreted it was so different. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like how dare he say that? But from my adult mind, I could go, there literally is no other logical response. That's what I would have said in that same position. And so immediately, just because I was willing to see that differently, that whole, like my entire relationship to money, talking with my husband about money completely dissipated. So it really can't, I mean, I didn't have to go to therapy for that. Like because I have a belief that I don't necessarily need an outside modality to shift things. So it can be as simple as that.
Yeah, and I think when people talk about having a wise inner parent, it kind of is like retroactively healing yourself from the new vantage point that you have now. And the more you grow your current vantage point, the easier it becomes to keep doing that. So, but yeah, listen, there are things for each of us that we areas where we don't believe we can do it that simply, and so we do need more help, right? So for example, like, for me with my digestive system, because it's such a sensitive thing and I have so many beliefs around it, I'm not at the place, and I know that I'm not at the place where I can just heal it with my mind. But there's many other things I'm like, sure, I can do that, why not? And the more I prove to myself that I can heal things in my mind or change things in my mind, the easier it becomes to let my sticky things come. But I'm not rushing the things that are hard, and I'm meeting them where they're at, and I'm embracing the places where they're easy, because that's kind of grooving a new belief system that I can do the easy things, and then hopefully build up to the things that I think I feel more kind of helpless around or powerless over.
Okay, that was it. Well, I ain't gonna make this video long. This is about human design. If you know about it, you should download the app. Put in your birth information and all that. It's pretty good. It lets you know like characteristics and how you live your life and all that. How your energy's made and how you're supposed to respond or manifest things, and just tell you a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much, I just wanted to record that so I would have that, and maybe it'll help some of you guys too, so we can learn and grow together, because that's my life, growing. But when you stop growing, you're dead. It's no comfort in growth. Growth is uncomfortable, so get comfortable with the uncomfortable, pretty much. Yeah. Knowledge divine, right on time. Putting them upgrades straight in your mind.